Hello everyone, this is Karen Cornell, your Creative Memories Advisor, and I am excited. It's been a busy day. I've had 2 sick children, so I'm just now getting into my craft room to make this recording. So basically, if you're a busy person and you love scrapbooking and preserving your family memories, but you don't have a lot of time, like me, but you want to get creative and have that time for yourself and with others, then please subscribe and like my channel so that we can do this together. We are currently in the midst of our 52 project recipe challenge, which we have already finished one whole quarter of project recipes, which woohoo, yay us. So we are into quarter 2 and we are plugging away. Last week we completed number 43 and I got lots of great feedback on that one. You love that one as well. And I accidentally at the end, I colored in 36. So I was like, well, I guess it's an omen. We need to start at 36 next week. So that's what we're doing. So let's switch the camera and get started. Okay, so project recipe number 36. And we get these done in less than 30 minutes. So if you don't have a lot of time, don't stress because we are going to get it done. So if you don't have the book, also, it's okay because I will walk you through every step. In this project recipe, it's going to be 7 photos. You're going to need 3 pieces of designer paper and 2 pieces of cardstock, a border punch or a border maker cartridge that stays attached because it's going to be part of a mat, a photo mat here. So we want it to stay attached. You could probably have it be separate, but it's going to be piecing it together, which will be a lot more complicated. So I would highly recommend that you keep it this way. It'll be a little bit easier for you. Pick one that's attached. And then you are going to need your paper trimmer, your 12-inch trimmer. If you want your banners to be precise, you're going to need a ruler. So I have our new CM Blue ruler to help me, and a pencil, and your micro tip scissors. So here are mine. So you'll need those as well. And a repositionable tape runner. So let's get started. So we are going to first cut, since this says green, I'm going to go ahead and do green too. So we're going to punch the border first. So I'm going to just grab my handy dandy little mat here. I get asked all the time, just about every week, how do I get this book? I really want the book. Well, it was part of the Creative Memories promo during their birthday bash. And the past couple of years, they've done something very similar as part of the celebration of Creative Memories coming back and everything. And it's in November, and it's usually a buy, like a spend and get. So if you spend so much, then you'll get the free book. So it's definitely something to put on your radar for this coming November. And I will make sure you know about it on my YouTube channel so you can get it. Because it's definitely, they've been coming out with some really cool stuff. So I think you will definitely like it. To have this in your stash for ideas. Because everybody likes a starting point when you're creating. I'm going to go ahead and punch this to get this out of the way because we're going to do this for the next one. Sorry I didn't tell you that, but just so I can get the punching done. You're going to punch for both of them. Really love these project recipes and this challenge because it really is forcing me to get in my craft room and work on my own projects, which I usually don't have a lot of time to do that because of, taking care of children and running my business. But this is really forcing me to do that, and I absolutely love it. So we will go back to our Kelly green. Mine's actually not Kelly green, it's Shamrock green. And then you're going to cut it at 5 3/4. So we're gonna have to pull out our arm. And then you're gonna just line it up by the top of your tallest piece of whatever you cut out. So mine are palm trees. And I'm just making sure it's lined up all the way down. And it's 5 3/4, and then I'm gonna cut at 4 inches. So I'm gonna turn it this way so I have a straight edge, so it'll be easier to cut. And then we have a 4.5 by 6.5. So I'm gonna go to 4.5, and I'm not gonna go all the way down, and I'm gonna go all the way down to 6.5, which on here, it has a great cutting guide. So it's all the way down to here. And you can also see it on this side over here, and you're gonna line it up with the little piece there. That way I have this whole piece to use for like Cricut or something. But if you see on your, this is the line I'm lining it up for that 4.5 and the 6.5. So there's that. Now we're gonna do red, which mine is pink. So we already punched our border. So now we're gonna cut it at 5 3/4, just like the other one. These are definitely duplicates. I was like, I have to go up a little bit more. There we go. 5 3/4. Then I'm going to cut at 4 inches. And then 4 inches. And then we're going to have this at 4.5. I'm going to go down to 6.5. I just try to save as much of my cardstock if I can for other projects, because little pieces, I just throw those away. Then we are going to cut our designer paper, and I'm using this cute umbrella paper. So we're going to cut 3.5. I'm just going to cut that straight down. And then I'm going to have 2 3.5-inch squares. And then another 3.5. I love how easy these project recipes are. You feel so accomplished when they're done. And it's a cute layout. And then we have, these are 8.5, so I'm going to cut it at 6. So I'm going to pull that arm back out. I have 2 of those. So we are done with the trimmer, so you can put that off to the side. I'm going to put it behind me. I'm going to move this over. This is my other base page. So these are the 2 pieces that we need to make little banners. So I like my banners to match. So when I go up, so we're gonna do it here, but I want to see how far I want to go up. And I am just gonna, I kind of have an idea of where that, I'm gonna fold it in half. Sorry, that was not on camera. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna just kind of put a little mark there so I know where the center is. And I am gonna just go up probably like, I'm gonna say 3/4 of an inch, because I don't want to go too far, because I can always go more, you can't go less. So I'm just gonna mark a little line there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one, just because I want them to match. So I'm going to just kind of fold it in half, line up corner to corner. I'm going to pinch it down here because I'm going to cut this off. I just don't want a big crease on my paper. And so then I'm going to go up 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to mark a line. And then I'm going to take my microtip scissors. And this is the part that you could go like this and cut it and go there if you feel very confident. Or you could take your trimmer. And this is where it's nice because you have these little lines. So you can take this line and you're going to put where your little pencil mark is on your dotted line. And then you're going to put your tip on your other line. And you're just going to make sure it's lined up. So we have the pencil at the top and then the point at the bottom. Make sure it doesn't slip. And there's one. Now I'm going to do the other one. If you're at like one that doesn't like to cut a straight line or says that you can't cut a straight line, then I highly recommend you doing this because so let me get that pencil mark over that line. So let's just, there we go. So I can see it on the other line. You're gonna have your pencil mark to your, and just make sure those points at the bottom stay together. Like if it was a little banner that, you know, like just a 1-inch banner, I do that with my microtip scissors, but this is really big and this is making me nervous to make sure I cut it a straight line. Because those microtip scissors don't have a very long blade on them. So that way, they're pretty much the same. I did good. Yay. Okay, so now you are officially done with that. And let's get it all together. So you're going to need your 2 base papers. That's just a little trick with those banners that you can use with other designs and stuff. But like I said, if it's a small one, you know, just a small like 1-inch, 2-inch, I just do that with my scissors. But if it's bigger, I like to use the trimmer. Then we are going to assemble. So we're going to start with green. Then it's going to go to pink. Let's see which one it was. It was probably this one. There it is. So there's that one. I'm trying to continue. There we go. And then we're going to have pink. And I'm just putting these down at the 6-inch mark, if that helps you. We're going to switch this. I'm trying to make my trees go along. There's a little gap there, so let's see if we do this. There we go. There we go. And I did save this little piece here so that we could add him back. And fill in that spot, so I will do that. And then we're gonna have this here and this here. And then this one goes on this side and this one goes on this side, and then we have this one up here. And you could do the reverse if you wanted to, or you could put photos. I really like a lot of the umbrellas, but anyway, let's assemble. So I'm gonna get my silicone mat. I wonder if I do this one over here and this one right there, and then this one right here. There's too big of a gap. So we'll go back to how we were. Note to self, keep it in line in order how the border is so you don't have this issue. Do as I say, not as I do, right? And you won't have this little issue. But you know, there's no mistake in art or crafting and that we can't fix. So I am not going to stress. Make sure this is up at the top. Do 6 inches. And the other thing is, if you're cutting through, don't cut through the top of your design. Like I didn't do that on the pink because I was noticing that. So just cut through the big bulk of it and you won't have that little issue. But anything can be fixed. I'm not worried. Actually, let's see if I do this. Yes, that's what I do. See? Does everybody else love repositionable as much as I do? I really think it's the best thing they invented. That way, I can cut that little piece off. Right here, cut this off, and it'll look like it's supposed to, or where's that little piece? I could add it back. That's what I'll do. Never mind. I'll find that in a second. It's on this table. See, I get distracted as I'm trying to put this together, and I'm looking down at the bottom, making sure that tip is at the 6-inch mark. Erase my little pencil mark. Then I'm going to take this one. I'm going to put this down. This is such a cute layout. Very simple when you don't try to make it harder than it is. And then this one's going to go over here. And you can use one of these mats, or you could do a variety mat here. If you have some of those in your collection, I know, I feel like when they had 24 variety mats in every collection, I feel like I was left over with I had a leftover of about 12. So if you're like me, you have plenty of those, so you like to use them when you can. Then this is going to go up here. And I want to see, because this collection came with borders, and I might even add these little cute little umbrellas to this, because when else are you going to use them? Got to use this stuff up. Don't keep it to be pretty in your stash, right? And then we are going to add our photos. So we can add our photos. We've got, you can do a 3.5 by 3.5 by 3.5 square, or you can have it as a journal box. Then you have 4 by 6s down, or 6 by 4. I always say that wrong. And then I've got more of these, and then that could be a journal or a title area. Lots of cute. I also was thinking I could have the flip-flops hang from the trees. So I don't know, I'm gonna play around with it. And then lots of cute little embellishments. So you can add them up here. I love this embellishment if I have a way to add this, just because it's a big embellishment. And I love these embellishments so much. I bought 2 of them. So let me slide this over so you can actually see it. It might be too many beach umbrellas, so I might have to try something else. But definitely have lots of options with these stickers. So I'm going to use my anti-stick powder and just kind of play with them and see how I can embellish this more. My final layout will be on my Facebook page, Karen Cornell Scrapbooking. So I hope you have a fabulous day and keep scrapping. Remember to color in number 36 on your checkoff sheet, and look on my Facebook page for my final layout. And I hope you have a fabulous day. Happy scrapping!